them come. This is their fate.
All right. Let me get my Birdman hands in there. All right. Welcome back to the House of Wolves podcast. I am your host, Deontay, here with my near and dear friends, Jalen and Josh. At some point, we're going to get some fancy drops. We're going to get some real, actual production behind this thing. But until then, keep rocking with my Birdman hands and my sweet tunes of the voice. But yeah, let's get moving. All right, let's start with. Oh shoot, you just threw me all the way off, Josh. You came on camera, and I was like, I'm like, hold on, Chief, I get to see my boy.
I ain't gonna let you see his face.
I said he gonna let me see.
I'm always on video.
No, you not. What are you talking about?
I mean, it's dark right now because I'm tired.
Yeah, what is this man talking about, Josh? Jalen, what are you talking about? He said he always on video.
When you try
I
to
got
FaceTime, he probably man get off
set up in here.
get off the phone.
Y'all the
Yeah, sure.
y'all out here with y'all ski mask on.
Nah.
Feisties.
The shiesties, you know.
They be looking like Kodak Black. Like, dang boy, I already see your face before.
Yeah.
I better get on camera. Let me put my feisty on real quick. Man. Hold on, chill on me.
I'd be like, can you take off the mask, Deontay? He'd be like, no.
yeah, that's not what I'm doing, G. But anyways, before we get started, as always, we got a lot to talk about. Some things that actually came up that I am interested in speculating and being a little random with the Xbox showcase, but that has at least been announced. So we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about some more things outside of just gaming with the Kendrick diss dropping in. It just being a special moment in hip hop. So we're going to talk about that too. But yeah, before we get started, per usual, Jalen, Josh, tell the people how you been, what you've been up to, what you've been doing, how's life going. Talk to the people.
Yeah, it's Golden Week here in Japan, and I know both y'all have played Persona now, so y'all know what Golden Week is.
Oh yeah.
I got a week off work, and a lot of people in the country do. So last few days I've been just at home a lot, hanging out with the family, and trying to finish as many games as I can. It's just quickly, the family's doing good. Ain't nobody sick or anything like that. It's starting to get warm, which is now is good because warm is like 70-ish in Japan. But in like a month it's gonna be like 95 and it's gonna suck. So I'm gonna try to enjoy the warm weather, go out to the park as much as we can before it get too hot, and then going outside is gonna be cut out. I mean, at least for a whole all day trip going outside. As far as what I've been doing, I've been playing a couple games actually. Dragon's Dogma 2 was still on my list. I wanted to finish that off, and I did today. End up clocking 83 hours. It was fun, but I got a couple beefs with the game. But overall, it was pretty good. I'd say that the first game, my impression of the first game is always like Dragon's Dogma 1 is a 7 out of 10, but it has a couple like 9, 10 out of 10 moments. I was like, this boss fight was really good. I never did anything like that. Or this area or these classes or whatever are like the best I've ever seen. But the overall package is like a 7. Dragon's Dogma 2, I feel like is an improvement, but it's not like a huge improvement. I would still give it like a 7.5, maybe an 8 out of 10 overall. But it still has a couple high moments. I think the only thing that is missing is that real in game, like kind of was like like the icing on the cake that made it. It's like you finish the whole game, now you reward it with like this roguelike area that you can do pretty much anything in. The second game doesn't have that. It has a kind of like post game, like true ending that I did. That took a while. It was interesting. All the enemies were harder. It kind of turned into like Breath of the Wild at the end, where you got to go around and fight like a couple unique beasts in order to finish the game. But overall, it was straight. Um, the only, I guess, my other beef is that some of the classes were tuned down from the first game, and the new ones were really good, but some of the older ones were not as good as they used to be. So I was kind of disappointed in that. But I wanted to knock that out as fast as I could. I ended up actually playing it, I guess, the same amount as I did Final Fantasy Rebirth, but it didn't get old. It still felt fun to the very end. But I wanted to get that out the way so I can play the new hotness. Let me pull it up here since y'all looking at my camera.
Mm.
Got my Stellar Blade copy. I was at the store. I was like, why not? It's on it's here. I liked the demo and I ain't got nothing else to play on my PlayStation, so I picked it up. And I've only played like 5-ish hours of the game, just I guess a little bit past the demo, and I'm enjoying it. The combat is still, it feels good. It's not like the best combat ever, but it still feels good. The performance of the game is really good, because we talk a lot about performance, because this is a actually an Unreal
Man,
Engine 4 game, and they've polished it where it's like it got 60 FPS mode, no stuttering, and a whole bunch of other features that you see in other Unreal Engine games, but they always have issues. Whereas this, so far, no issues with like bugs or just bad performance. The music is hot. It's always got uh, this lady singing in your ear in a soft voice, and that's relaxing. And then they'll pick it up for the combat sections, but I'm liking it so far. We'll see how it is. My expectation though is like with all the controversy, just try to keep my expectation low because I was never expecting a amazing game. Like just give me a decent 7 out of 10 that's fun to play and not too frustrating. So far it seemed like it can deliver on that, but uh, we'll see. I'll let y'all know how it is. What about you, Jalen? What have you seen or heard about this game? Because I feel like it's been everywhere.
Outside of
not
games.
much. Just yeah, I was about to say just booty physics for real.
Booty
Mhm.
The booty
I ain't heard
physics.
nothing else. Good combat and booty
Claim to
physics.
fame.
Yeah, man. The I think the biggest thing with Stellar Blade that I've seen mostly is that people are that they're really overhyping and but it's not the game that is they're overhyping per se. I think that they are they want it to be really good just to make sure people, they don't want people they don't want the game to be a shell because that's what we deem the character, right? They want it to be fulfilling, and sometimes it's okay to admit that it doesn't meet expectations all the way through. Like that is kind of one of the core reasons why I didn't pick it up because I was new. I felt like, well, if the story's lacking, I'm really gonna be buying it for one thing only, and if I don't enjoy the combat that I played, it may not be as impactful or met as like as it might not stick with me as much. But I know a lot of the people were saying that basically she's dull, and which makes the world dull. And I was like, I don't find that to be my perspective on world. Sometimes the world can be amazing, even though the character itself is dull, like Jin from Ghost of Tsushima or something like that. So, and then that in that story itself, in that world, it had great moments, but the world or the story of Ghost of Tsushima wasn't really that grand to me. It just had grand moments for me. So I think that they can
Mhm.
still succeed in that way, but you can have a great game and still have bad parts. I guess I don't want people to start to overshadow the bad because they feel like it has to be great in all categories. It doesn't.
Yeah, everybody's hyperbolic with the game. Like if it's they gotta hide every problem and pump it up to 10 out of 10. I saw people saying like this, this is one of the most refreshing games I've played in years. I was like, you must not play any games because
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad game. It's just like there have been so many games that came out this generation alone or last generation. It's like this doesn't have to be the one that you like hold up as the savior.
Yeah.
Other than just to say like it's a fun game and you have fun.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I would say. I mean, I wasn't making nobody at least not in my opinion. Ghost of Tsushima was never going to be game of the year. It was my game of the year because I just samurai. I mean, I cosplay as a samurai the whole time, and I just kind of felt like it was the most impactful for me. But it definitely had flaws. Just like Stellar Blade, it's not. I'm not even saying they're on the same level because I just feel like Ghost of Tsushima just did more in regards to world building. I haven't played Stellar Blade, so I don't want to kind of just throw it out there like that. But from the reviews and what people are telling me that have played it, it is lacking in a lot of different areas. So in my opinion, I feel like people should just appreciate the game, on a Jalen level. Like when he Kakarot, it's not no game of the year, but it's something that feeds what he enjoys or something like that, and that's simple enough for him. It's not like it got to be a game 10 out of 10 situation, and kind of overpraising it because of all the controversy around it. It could just be a good game for you, and that reason alone. You don't have to try to make everybody think that it's a 10 out of 10 when it's clearly not. So
yeah, I feel like what's the rating for that game?
I think it's like an 8, 7s.
Oh, okay.
7s and 8s, like 84 on Metacritic, I believe, right now. It's not like it's bad. It's just not like it's great either. It's just kind of in the middle, which is fine. And like I said,
yeah, we had a conversation about that.
Yeah. I don't really kind of want to. I don't like doing review stuff too either. I like kind of people's opinions from a more of a technical aspect, but at the same time, I do take some people's opinion into consideration, especially when it comes to like repetitiveness, because I don't like that in games at all, even in single player linear games. Like if it's repetitive, I really don't like and enjoy that type of gameplay. So,
Like The Last of Us.
No, because The Last of Us at least had a story to keep you going. I'd never play those games for the gameplay ever. If it's a good gameplay, it's just like a plus, but it's really just for the story, and like the scenarios they put you in versus anything else. So yeah, you could say like The Last of Us is pretty repetitive when it comes to the, oh, you got 6 enemies in front of you. I wonder how you gonna get out of this. And they tried to make it sweet with Last of Us Part 2. Oh, you could actually skip these enemies, but it's the same thing.
I didn't know you can do that. I just throwing shade at The Last of Us.
Nah, bro, you could close the door and like barricade it, and now you just skip that whole thing. Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
They did that for sections. That didn't make it special to me. It just made it more of like I can skip it, which is great because it doesn't make me have to play it. You can do the sneak tactics and get out of situations. But you had to know in cues when it was possible and when it was not. So it was kind of weird how they implemented it too.
It's like, oh, you tired of walking into a room and then see all these barriers and then see these dudes just run into the room too. Boy, all right, y'all ready to fight?
Yep. Exactly.
I got tired of seeing those glass bottles that throw at people and bricks.
Yes.
Exactly. That or the armor enemies. They bring in their homeboy. They boy, hey y'all. Like I think they in here. They all roll up in there, just like on Uncharted too. They all roll up, and then that last Juggernaut dude come out. Where he at? Let me at him. I'm like, all right, bro. Like, it's not to shoot you in the head 20 times.
Exactly. And I guess I'm not trying to harp on Stellar Blade, but that was one of the key reasons why I was like, I'm gonna wait for that to drop to 30, because that's fine for me. Same thing with Spider-Man. I'm not saying that Spider-Man isn't a much better game. I'm just we're just gonna have a conversation around that too. Just waiting on games because as of now, It just makes more sense for the games to wait on them if I'm not going to be intrigued by them, not rushing to play them, and I don't even have time to play them now, where I'm playing a ton of other things that have just come out these last 2 years. It really just doesn't make sense. So that was why I kind of decided to wait on it. Now, how much time have you
Yeah.
put into Stellar Blade? Because I don't think I was here for that part, at least I don't know if you said it.
Only about 4 or 5 hours.
Oh, okay.
Basically after the demo area, you go to like the next area. That's where I'm at right now.
Okay.
I haven't got to like the main city hub, and that's kind of what I want to see with like how it actually is, because like I already understand like the level base, go through, kill the enemies, fight the boss type stuff like that. I understand, but I want to see how they do the side quests and stuff like that to see if it's actually interesting to me or if it's like a chore.
Right.
But like I said, I'll let y'all know, because if I got some gripes with the game already, they minor, but if I don't like something, and I'll dog the game out later. So, but
Gotcha.
today it's positive,
Gotcha.
positive first impressions.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad that at least there's some enjoyment there to be had. I definitely got that feeling from the demo. So looking forward to kind of picking it up at some time later down the line. Uh, but what about you, Jalen? What you been up to? What you been doing? What's your schedule been looking like this last week?
Shoot, I just bought Stellar Blade. No, I'm just playing. Look out.
Hey,
Nah,
no, we already know that's false, falsified, falsified statements.
nah, but shoot, my schedule this week, man, not too much per usual, man. I started trying to get back to hooping a little bit, but other than that, not a whole lot going on. Like I'm like finally recuperating and stuff from like my birthday, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that executing age 30, because 31 coming up. Nah, I'm just playing. but but nah, other than that, man, not for real. I really just been chilling. I've been playing Fallen Order, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, because I love calling it Fallen Jedi. I've been playing that pretty frequently. So on a personal level, not too much. On a gaming level, like I said, I've been trying to beat this Star Wars real quick because I'm supposed to be getting Final Fantasy. Still ain't got it yet because I was like, I might as well beat Fallen Order so y'all can stop subtly clowning me about it. Even though y'all ain't really been clowning me about it, but when I talked to Josh about it in Japan, I was like, man, I should just go back and beat this game. I'd beat Persona 3. That done reignited a little bit of gaming energy that I got. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this game too because I ain't came back to it in a year and a half. I probably talked about it in the last podcast too, but I'm seeing some things in the game that I'm like, okay, like this kind of cool, but
Yeah.
seeing some things I'm like, all right, man, like y'all gotta chill, bro, like because this game ain't it's kind of clunky. So, but it's cool though for what it is. I still like the Star Wars universe, albeit I ain't really sat down and watched any of the Star Wars movies. I'm a fake Star Wars fan, so to me.
Fake Star Wars fans. That's hilarious. Um. Well, I mean, I'm glad you even at least
Gatekeepers can
got
come
back
get
to
me.
it. At least you got back to it. That's the key right there. You actually got back to playing. I don't know these. Really, the key one is Elden Ring because you still ain't beat that with that DLC coming. That's the one that
I
you need to.
mean,
That's the
I
one you
could go
really
back
need to
and
be
be
on
Elden
that
Ring. I
run.
just ain't really been.
You ain't had the
Hey,
time, the
no, I
patience.
definitely had the time. I put in, about at least 70 hours in Persona 3. So the time for sure there. I just was like,
Mhm.
I feel like it's enough of Dark Souls All Stars that like
Uh huh.
I can beat the game, but it don't really change anything with the game. Like that's like a game you find enjoyment in the gameplay. So like we're talking about like the
Mm-hmm.
stories and the gameplay. That's a game you find enjoyment out of the gameplay, and the story ain't. I mean, if you can perceive the story, I mean that's one thing, but understanding and doing different things, like it just ain't no, you know, it ain't.
Hmm.
I didn't feel like it was a huge justifiable point in beating the game. I know a couple other people actually was playing. It was like, y'all like the game a lot. I just ain't beat it. Like It
No, that
ain't
makes
it ain't a
sense.
huge reason to beat it.
Yeah,
So
Elden Ring is actually one of those games that's is so big. They give you so much stuff that you don't have to beat it.
Yeah.
It's just it's some interesting like bosses and stuff like that. That's always the best part about the Dark Souls games is seeing the type of challenges they make. But you've seen what the game is like, and you know what type of endings and stuff that they always do. So it's not like you're getting a whole brand new experience, and you already played it for like 100 hours. So it's all right to tap
yeah,
out. But yeah, it's
that's
just
like a
one of those
game you
things.
can.
You got so far, you might as well finish it type thing. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that's a game where you can, some type of, some games they making like boss attacks and stuff like that. Not saying that that would be that type of game, obviously, because of how grueling it is. But if they have some way where you can like, go through and beat as many bosses as you can without dying and stuff like that. I ain't gonna say I'd invest in that, but it's just something like you usually get the most enjoyment out of fighting the bosses. Is basically what I'm getting at. Like,
yeah, you get what
Mhm.
you want out of the game without all the extra work that you got to do in between. Yeah.
yeah, because I mean that stuff don't make that much of a difference anyway if you lack in the core skill on how to play the game anyway. So,
Mm. No,
um,
that's true. Um,
Speaking of that, I think Sekiro has that, but I don't know how it works with items and stuff.
I
So I'm
think
gonna
they
have to
do
check it
too,
out.
but I feel like it was something off about it. I forgot, but again, Sekiro, all the Soulsborne games and Sekiro are they the same thing with this, so
hmm.
which is cool though. I like that stuff.
Okay. Well, anything else that you've been getting into or up to this last week outside of more
Um,
Jedi?
nah, I mean, aside from that, on a personal level, like this week, I'm supposed to do a some type of like 2.5 mile run or something tomorrow, and
Oh,
that's
okay.
supposed to be with like Lululemon or something like that. I don't really know.
Oh, okay.
And then on Thursday, I mean, I got a basketball game, and then on Saturday, I mean, this weekend is Cinco de Drinko, but I ain't
Cinco
really
de
trying to
Drinko.
partake in that. I ain't really trying to partake in that, but I am doing a 5 mile run with I had signed up to do a 5 mile run this weekend too. So um
Okay.
that's pretty much it though. So I'm in my runner's bag. Joined like a running group in Chicago. It's like Black Man Run. So
Yeah.
I'm on my Deontay bag now. I'm running.
Yeah. You're running. Yeah. That's
But that's it though.
okay. Well, I mean, you got some plans, that's for sure. Good luck with all of that. I'm doing no running. That's
Mhm.
that's a known fact at this point, man. This I've been acting like an old man for the last like 3 months. It's been crazy with this an ongoing sciatica. This junk is ridiculous, but I'm not gonna talk
I
about
mean,
my I'm not talking about my pain because it doesn't really matter at this point. It's just more so working it out and kind of continue to build upon it. It's definitely a lot better than it used to be, but it is kind of a ridiculous thing to have at this type of age. But I think a lot of people just have them as ridiculous, and it just keeps coming back. So it's not like something that actually kind of goes away. You can heal them, but I don't know if this one's gonna be one of those cases. So
you ain't
uh
the oldest. You came up here.
yeah, that's true. I mean, I did thug it out, did a lot of exercising before, and made sure that it was loose, and took some pain pills for it. But I don't know. This is ridiculous for me to kind of have this and not like found a way to kind of resolve it for such a long time. It's a little weird, um, but it's cool. You kind of get as you get older, your body start changing, and you gotta adapt with it. But that's the that's the whole point. As long as you adapting with it, you ain't never really being hindered. So that's what I'm kind of that's my takeaway for the day, guys. That's what quotable. You want to take a quotable from this is always be willing to adapt for sure. But what I've been doing? Ah, man, this week has been rough. Me and the whole family were sick for a week straight. Right after we came back from that from Chicago. Jalen gave me something in that Hero's chicken. It was something in the chicken. Whatever I picked up from that chicken is what kind of brought it back to the Ohio State. And man,
Those Chicago GMOs.
yeah, some Chicago GMOs, whatever was in that up in that spice is what caused it. But bruh was throwing up, couldn't keep liquids down, couldn't keep nothing down. I was eating applesauce.
Yeah, I was
bro.
gonna say I ain't know about that.
Yeah, I was cooked.
That was food poisoning or something.
It was something. It was something. All the kids had it. My wife had it. I had it. We were all eating applesauce and bananas. G. It was pretty rough. And then we kind of got a secondary virus, like I don't know, 4 days after, and that's still going through. But I'm recovered. Everybody else is still on the mend, trying to recover. Like I said, we've been out for Monday last week to now. It's been that long for recovery wise. So it's been definitely time because the kids were feeling better when we weren't, and then they got sick again, and then we were feeling better. It's like we've been playing jumping jacks or something. But as of now, I played 0 games. I lost 4 pounds because I wasn't eating, and and it was just basically I was watching a lot of shows, a lot of romance comedies. That's my favorite when I'm sick. I need to see a happy ending, a good story, or something that makes me feel better. So I'm always watching some type of romance comedy. But yeah, that was pretty much it. I watched. Oh, you know what? I messed up too. I watched something I shouldn't have watched. I watched King Richard, and I cried 6 times during that movie. I was like, bro, what's going on, bro? My emotions were heightened, and the movie was too sad. I cried 6 times, and I was telling my wife, she was like, wait, you cried 6 times during King Richard? I was like, yes. I don't know how. But every time something sad happened, boy, I was up in that mud bawling. So it had a good cry as a adult male, but that was good for me. And that's why I don't watch those movies. I only watch like romance comedies. Like I said, I need a happy ending, nothing too crazy happening in the middle. But King Richard, I decided to turn it on because it just got back on Netflix or something like that, and I saw it and I was like, okay, this seemed like a good watch at 7 a.m. in the morning because I couldn't sleep. And yeah, that was a fun one. It was still a great movie. If you haven't ever seen it, even though he slapped, Chris Rock, it was a great movie and it definitely deserved, some praise. I don't know if it was, I think at that point in time, what he was going up against, I think he definitely deserved that Oscar, but he, kind of messed it up when he slapped Chris. But yeah, anyways, that's what I did over the week.
Mm-hmm. I haven't finished all of it. I've seen the second half. My wife was watching it, but she always watching sad and depressing stuff that I don't like. So I was gonna say, I had to recommend some rom-coms that we can watch.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the husband's wife died, and now he got to find another wife, but he also got 2 kids. And like, I don't want to watch this. But if it's something lighthearted that we can watch that.
Yeah, unfortunately they don't make they don't make a lot of those with black leads, so Cream did not watch those movies with me, unfortunately. I was like, they don't never want to green light our movies when it's just basic stuff. They only put it on Lifetime or Tubi, and I don't watch no Tubi movie. So it's like they don't want to green light the good black rom-coms. So when I find them, it's rare. I usually shoot them around, so I'll let you know. Right. And then they got some good ones out there, but obviously they're predominantly white led, and Crean ain't going for it most of the time. But yeah, what else? What else? What else?
Been watching some rom-coms. Been watching any anime or anything?
Not really. I couldn't get into I finished Shogun, but it took us almost a whole week to finish one episode of Shogun. And that's simply because we wanted to pay attention, wanted to give it all our attention, and every time we would try to get together to do it, we'd get sick or we wouldn't feel great, and I'd be like, let's just go to sleep, let's just not do it, we don't have enough time. And it took us we watched it in like 10-minute increments, and it kind of ruined the whole ending. But even though that whole last episode was kind of broken up like that, it was still very impactful. It was still a very good episode, and it was still very much so tied together well. We did have to end up watching the ending explained because we wanted to make sure we didn't miss stuff, which we completely did on some things. But overall, man, that was a great show. So if you haven't seen Shogun, go give it a shot. I think that you will find some enjoyment in some of the characters and some of the in at least one character. I think all of them are phenomenal, but I think at least one character you'll find a really someone you'll want to root for. But it's also just a very well told story in Japan, and how in that time, and what it meant to live in that time. So I think it just really and captured all of that into one swell season. So definitely give it a shot if you haven't. But outside of that, man, I mean, I bought Lords of the Fallen, and we can talk about why in a little bit, because we can try and kind of go into that, because we don't really have that many super big topics. Actually, we do. I might talk about the Xbox showcase first, but I bought Lords of the Fallen for $30. I'm going to give it a shot. Going to see if it's not going to stutter on my system, and hopefully I have a good time with that one. But just waiting for games that I'm interested in and kind of drop lower in price, and have a conversation around that in a little bit too. But that's pretty much all I did. I didn't do anything else, man. I was recovering the whole time. It was really important for me to kind of recover. So that's what I did.
Yeah, I'm surprised you did what you did, feeling like that, especially the whole family.
Nah, it was like I said, it was pretty bad. But we got through it, and a lot of Werners, a lot of just trying to keep our stomachs intact, because it was a little ridiculous. But yeah, I definitely think there is something new going around that is very, our kids aren't used to being around other kids, and they were talking about it could potentially have been some type of rotavirus or whatever it's called. But I've never came in contact with something like that ever. I've never been that sick before, so just glad I'm kind of getting over it and not still chugging applesauce, because that junk was dead. Finally get some real food in me. But that was a long intro. And we're going to start to talk about some games now, people. Anything else before we move into our first topic?
Oh, we can get moving.
Yeah, let's get moving then. All right, first things first. First thing on the agenda, Xbox. I want to say this one thing about this Fallout 4 patch. It sucks, by the way. It didn't help anything. And I'm glad they bought Bethesda, because I feel like they was going to try to charge people some money for that type of patch. But it sucked. Xbox, though, has announced their showcase for June 9th. This is the showcase that's supposed to outline the next 4 big games, because we still haven't got Avowed, we still haven't gotten Hellblade yet, and we still haven't gotten Indiana Jones. But this is like the next 4 games coming after that. This isn't even talking about the games already announced. This is like the future of what they're coming up next, which it's exciting to be an Xbox fan at this point because I can see where the build up has finally come, and I think that we're now going to start to see a lot of good games come from them, regardless of how you feel about them, regardless of if you feel like they're on the quality or the level of Sony. This is what they're now positioning themselves to have games come out continuously and bringing new ideas, new ventures, and new IPs to the forefront. So, I kind of want to speculate a little bit, and I kind of already know where one thing is going to be there for sure, but I kind of want to speculate on what Xbox could actually show in the next four titles reasonably that would make sense. Um, let's start there. What would make sense? To me, the biggest thing that makes sense coming next is Gears 6. I think we got Gears 5. What? When did Gears 5 come out? Gears 5 release date. Release date came out September 6th of 2019. Safe to say that's a actual 2016 for October 11th, 2016, September of 2019. I think I feel confident in saying that is going to be the next game for the next year coming out will be Gears 6. What do we want to see from a Gears game in this day and age, Josh? What do we want to see from them? Do we want them to give us the same thing they always give us? Is that fine? Is it like feed the core audience and leave it alone? Don't kill a dead horse. I mean, don't kick a dead horse, or it's already I don't even know the expression, but basically, do we need to keep continuing to cook this? What do you feel? Or should we just leave it as is?
Well, for me, I'll just be honest. I don't like Gears. I like Gears 1 and 2, but I don't feel like they ever needed more. Those
Right.
games are kind of really simple in their goals, and I feel like they accomplished that. Like blowing up Locust, blowing up whatever came after the Locust. You can do it so many times, and it kind of doesn't give you that same level of excitement for me, at least. So I don't know what else you can do for the Gears franchise. And
Right.
I think that studio is also too talented on the technical side to be stuck with Gears. Like, at least if they just want to make third person shooters, give them a new IP. Let them make it in space. Let them make it at a different time period. Like, they got a steampunk game. Sure, it's just like Gears, but it doesn't have to be stuck to the Gears universe. And I feel
Mm.
like you don't need to stick to that IP, and that's been Microsoft's problem for the longest time over the whole Xbox One generation, is that they wanted the same franchises to be around forever. And
Yeah.
you know, I mean, not to say Gears is not fun. Like, you can still have fun with it. It's just it's kind of reached its market appeal cap. Like, I
Mm.
don't see Gears drawing in more new people, and so you only gonna market it to the old fans, and I guess the old fans will just get tired at some point. So, what that to say, I personally don't want to see more Gears, but I think, like you said, it is really, really likely that we are gonna see more Gears
Yeah.
because I forget the studio name, but they're always working
Coalition.
on something. Yeah, Coalition. They're always working on something, and they're always like testing, like pushing technical boundaries. And Gears has been their like test place for and it's always getting better, and that's good. I like that about them. But yeah, it's gonna be more Gears. I don't know what happened in 5. Like, I played some of it, but yeah, it kind of just um Yeah, I got tired of it because I've seen Gears of War before, and it's just Gears with a new paint to me, even though it might be fun. So we get more Gears, and I guess more Forza.
More
uh,
Forza, Halo, Gears, and
more
Forza.
Forza. I don't think we get more Halo. Halo Infinite getting updates, but
Yeah,
you're not getting nothing
you're right. You're
new
right.
from Halo
We
for
might get
a long
a
time.
single player like expansion or something. They might
I don't. I
actually.
doubt that.
You doubt it? Interesting.
I mean, what? Like a year and a half ago, they fired the whole single player team. I mean,
Oh, I
when
didn't
they
know
did
that.
the layoff. Yeah.
I didn't know that they did that actually. Okay. Well,
Uh,
that's the answer. That's the answer there. Um,
I mean, sure, they could have hired new people and started over, but it's not looking likely.
it's not looking likely. Okay. Well, let me readjust my seat here. What do y'all think about I mean, I don't want to just hate on Gears because I don't want to see it either. I'm just trying to figure out a good angle for them to take that will make this more. But I don't think they need to make an angle. You know why? Because they don't need the franchise to live in the way that it used to live. They have so
Ye-
many IPs now that it doesn't matter if this one just continues to
mhm,
be peak for people that like Gears. Like it does not matter for them to make this game a game for the masses. It doesn't work in that way anymore. And it never will, and it's okay. So they can minimize the marketing budget, they can minimize the amount of like additional content to try to keep people playing it. They could just focus on telling either a expansive story within the world of Gears and creating a multiplayer experience that people want to continue to play and enjoy. And even if they want to spin it off where they create a world like they did with Halo Infinite, where it's no longer based on just having a single copy of a certain game, because it doesn't really help them with Game Pass anymore, to just have a ongoing multiplayer for Gears that continuously is updated, that's breaking off from the single player aspect of it. It's totally
mhm,
fine. Like I don't know what they're gonna do, but I know at least that there is a possibility of a transition happening here. There's some type of transformation that's going to occur, and it doesn't have to tailor itself to fit everybody needs. It's just a transition to fit the new platform that is Xbox Game Pass.
mhm.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with playing a 15-hour, you know, shooter of Gears if I'm truly interested in the world and the story. I just don't want them to. I don't know. I feel like sometimes there was a lot of keeping things centralized in that, and it's believable in Gears, I guess, because they didn't want to kind of upset or rock the boat. But at this point, man, that's what I'm saying, Josh. When I say that people, that they don't have to
Mhm.
please everyone anymore. They do have to still
Yeah.
dedicate themselves to their core fans, but if they're not looking to bring new people in that love the old Gears games, and they just want to continue to build off of the people that still love the game for what it is, and they still like the multiplayer, blah blah blah. I just wanted them to get a little bit more creative with their storytelling and their variety in gameplay. So that's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I'm excited for. That's what I'm trying to say without saying that they need to transition it a little bit, but keep it the same for a multitude of reasons. But um,
Yeah. I feel like I agree that it's been enough time that Gears games have been out that it's not their main franchise anymore.
yeah,
Like it used to be, Gears, Halo, and Forza. But now it's been enough time where Halo is not number one, Gears is not number one. I mean, Forza is still popular, but that's like a different genre. But yeah, they can branch out. Gears doesn't have to be like the big hitter. They don't have to worry about pissing off the core fans because uh that's all y'all got.
Yeah.
Where now you got other people. Now you don't have to cater to those Gears, Halo, Forza fans anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of shooters, there's plenty of other things, but I understand keeping Gears tied to what they love about Gears. And maybe that multiplayer aspect of it is where they literally truly stick to true to the roots. But when I want
Mhm.
a fun single player experience, I don't think Gears. I used to think Gears bombastic all the over the top moments and like going through situations, like there is some moments in Gears where I felt like, okay, this is really cool, like the train sequencing and like certain things that I thought was just like, oh, how they were able to create this type of scenarios in their minds and just trying to be over the top. It kind of reminded me of my, I don't know. I guess they were my Halo experiences where I felt like you were doing something that was a little
Mhm.
bit more um it was more important than just what you were doing, I guess. In your little
Mhm.
maybe shooting stuff down, but there was a lot of stuff happening around you that you were impacting as well. And I feel like there was a lot of moments in Gears where that happened, and I felt like I was part of something bigger than just Marcus shooting down or killing uh uh or killing an enemy or something like that. I just felt like it had bigger meaning to it. So those
Yeah.
things I really want to see more of, but I also want to see a really good narrative. I think that Coalition has the chops to do the technical stuff. I don't think they have the writers or the capabilities to generate a meaningful, impactful story. And maybe with the buildup of what they had, the building blocks, they could create something special. But we would definitely need to see a transition that probably is going to take more than just making it everything else look pretty. You got to kind of do a
Mhm.
lot more there. So that's what I want to. That's what I want to see. I want to see innovation. I want to see new things there that will allow me to really sink my teeth into. This is a new experience that I've never played before. So that's what I want from Gears. I don't think I'm gonna get it, but it might, maybe. Next up, very likely, possible, Fable. Fable has already been announced. It has been on the back burner for quite some time now. I don't know if it's next year, but that's the only one we've seen a build of. I ain't seen no build of
Mhm.
Gear 6, so I'm saying that's next year, and I ain't seen nothing. But at least we've seen
Mhm.
Fable and running in action. So what's your over under on that? Do you think Fable will be announced and ready to go next year alongside that GTA? Nah, I don't want to say alongside, but somewhere around there. They'll probably move out the way. At least a good month and a half. But where do
Yeah.
you think Fable will slot?
Uh, I personally, I think it's not ready yet, just because
Okay.
maybe they want more time to polish it.
Yeah.
But also, it's playground games, and
Yes.
I think that they have a really good workflow that the game might be ready, but so, just that to say, I think that they can deliver on a timeline, but I think with that game, it's a big title. They might want a little more time to let it cook and to polish up some things. But yeah, it could be. Personally, I think it's too early.
Mm. Okay. I I feel like there's definitely a I guess I'll lean to the 50-50 chance. It's a 50-50 shot that is going to be there or it's not. 50-50 shot that it will be there and just announced for a later time down the line, just showing off it more, or
Mhm.
that it could be there and it's talking about how it's going to be coming soon and part of that big four for the next year. Um, I'm going to lean more towards it's just going to be shown off more,
They can show it,
and
but it's not gonna be ready yet.
it's not going
Oh, wow.
and it's not going to be ready. But I really wanted to be in another one, so I'm gonna just keep my hopes. I'm gonna keep my expectations low and say that it's just going to show there and not be ready for next year release. Um. Okay, I said two. Any thoughts from you guys on what else could be there? And I mean, I wouldn't even put that on you guys. I don't know if you guys even aware of what they have in them, like actual, um, what they're cooking right now, basically. But what do you guys think will be on the June 6th showcase um, that will be either revealed or just see more of June 6th?
I don't have all the developer lists, but they have a lot of developers that previously announced games like the Perfect Dark Zero or
Mm-hmm.
Perfect Dark franchise. I think that game is not going to be ready yet, but what I was going to say is I think those studios are also working on smaller ideas. I think we might, or I hope that we can start to see some of their smaller um, content as well. Something like a Hi-Fi Rush, where where you have the big umbrella studio Bethesda, and they have all these other games like Starfield, but they also have something small that they were working on. So just somebody had an idea for it. So if those other games like Perfect Dark are still going to take a while, maybe you still have something else for those developers working on. So that's personally what I think. Otherwise, I'm not really feeling like the other big announced titles are ready to show off. Maybe Indiana Jones is going to be ready to show off. But Contraband and Perfect Dark and their other like AAA games that they announced are those I don't think are anytime coming out anytime soon, so they might not show them.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, no, I think that they're trying to make sure that they have like a good cadence, and I think the developer directs and all that stuff is obviously going to be where they deep dive into the four games that they're obviously going to be coming out with next year. So probably get something like that in the next at the top of the year next year, um, and mm, and really what we're going to be seeing here is a lot of snippets of things to come and like getting people excited. But I do think that they're going to outline their four. I
Mhm.
really do. I think they're going to outline the four.
Four games for next year.
Yes,
Mhm.
the four big games because that's what they want to do. Four big games per year, one in every quarter. So regardless of how big we deem them to be, they should still be coming out. Um, hmm. What's that one game? What's that one Southern? It was really cool looking. I forget the name of the studio. It was kind of like they was in like a bayou. She was talking to like this
I
like
think it was something by you. Like
yeah,
you said that, but yeah, I don't remember
it's like
the
southern
name.
south side bayou south side or crap. I don't know the name of it now. But the south side of Baton? No, that's not. It was like a video game. Brrr. It's I'm not gonna find it, but it was definitely it was definitely one of those games that to keep an eye on. Maybe that would be one of the ones that we kind of get more information, or at least it gets a release for next year. That was one of the ones I was thinking as well. But we don't have to spend too much more time guesstimating. I just think that from a scale to 1 to 10 from both of you, I just want to hear real quick. What do you think the Xbox Showcase will end up being graded wise? Like, do you think it's going to be a solid one? Do you think, or is there potential here? I guess, or just matter of fact, don't even say that. Just give me a number from 1 to 10. What do you think Xbox showcased this year?
First, I found that game is South of Midnight.
South of Midnight.
Is
Thank you.
That's the name of it. Yeah, it takes place in the Bayou. As far as the rating, I I think I want it to be like a 7 or better, but I think it might land around like a 6. There's one or two announcements that I like or I think are really good, and the rest is kind of just whatever. They have to show the Fallout 76 DLC and other stuff to fill time.
Yeah.
But that being said, they might have one or two good announcements so I'll give it a 6. That's what I'm expecting.
Oh,
But
okay.
nothing that's like amazing. Like, oh look, this is our God of War or something.
Yeah. I think them pulling Call of Duty out of it was a great move on their part, and Activision obviously maybe have some things up their sleeve. But Jalen, I know your first I think the first one you ever watched was with me. I don't know if it was the PlayStation or the Xbox one, but I don't know what we was watching together. I think it was the Game Awards because it was really long. I don't remember. Whatever you
Like it's
watch,
like
yeah,
Tokyo game. I don't know.
whatever you watch with me on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think this Xbox showcase will do Sunday on a Sunday afternoon? 1 out of 10.
Uh, I mean, to be honest with you, I wasn't expect it to be like super exciting or anything like that. I almost feel like I don't know they like game shows usually fall on and stuff like that, but I feel like you'll probably want to put it on something you don't feel like it's competing. But I mean, I'd probably say like a 6.
6-2. Okay. Sixes all around. Y'all sound like IGN with they sevens. Seven. Seven.
Hey, I was gonna say 5, but I was trying to be a little enthusiastic.
Well, I appreciate you adding that extra number there. Um, the but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna jump out the window. I'm gonna say an 8. You know why? I say an 8 simply because they have too many companies at this point. Regardless of what they show, if they show nothing Xbox, studio wise, they still have Bethesda and they still have Activision. Um, that if I was to watch Activision's and they only gave me the one highlight from Activision and they only gave me the one highlight from Bethesda, I think that's still a value add to the showcase. Now I don't think that that's what's going to happen. I think that they're going to be showing a bunch of stuff. But 8 would suffice. I don't think they're going to knock it out the park, but I definitely don't think they're going to be mediocre either. I think there's going to be somewhere nice in the middle where you feel like you've really gotten some value from that showcase. And it may be hard to follow simply due to sheer volume. Quality is the concern. It's never been a concern for me more than now because if they don't showcase quality on the screen, that tells me they really did just buy. They just threw money at stuff like that. That isn't good, in my opinion. I'm not looking for quantity. I'm looking for quality. They really need to go talk to the people that deal with Sony's team of A&R and research and just verifying what do people want to see on the large scheme. Like I don't want to see your indie showcase for 20 minutes. I understand that's what we're here to celebrate all developers, but I think the developers that have truly provided, that extra additional polish, that extra time, put that money in, put that time in. I feel like everyone. I'm not saying that indie developers don't do that. So I guess I'm saying the wrong thing, but trying to relay a message that essentially the stage is set for people to judge you in a way that indie developers and smaller developers aren't necessarily needed to be highlighted at. Like they don't need to be highlighted here, because people don't treat them in the same respect that they would treat a AAA. And not saying that their games don't even sometimes be even better than the AAAs. I'm just saying that when it comes to this level of light, you shining light on certain things, you want to make sure the quality stands 10 toes down. Even if it's quirky and weird, like a Kojima project, period. So that is what my thought is. That is what my hope is from that comes out of Microsoft. That they don't fill it with fluff, but they fill it with quality. And quality that really sets itself apart from what they've been doing in the past. I don't want to see Redfall-esque stuff, you know. I want to see more about that Blade game from Arcane. I want to see true quality. So, which, you know, I don't think we're going to see, but that's the hope.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Appreciate the honesty.
I
said I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah, I mean that's really what I'm looking for. I think if they deliver on that, it's an easy 8 out of 10 in the showcase. But if they don't, it does fall back to a 6, like you guys said. So, but yeah, I mean that's all I had on the showcase itself. But let's talk about something that has been eating at me since we started talking. We ain't. Matter of fact, let me do one more gaming topic, and then I'm probably gonna switch gears. Are we happy with the Black Ops? Do y'all want new Black Ops? Do you think that that's exciting? That the Call of Duty Black Ops showcase is going to be right after that the Xbox showcase. Do we care about the Call of Duty franchise X and from the Black Ops standpoint? Because it will be, I think it's going to come to Game Pass. But what is your thoughts?
What you think, Jayla?
You coming back for the maps?
We just got done convincing me several podcasts ago. They convinced me to get Modern Warfare. And a good attempt, But what y'all think? I mean, y'all think that John worth it? I mean, we put that game in, what y'all say, 15 days? Put it down in 15 days. Going once, going twice.
Who put it down to 15?
I played it.
Josh played it. Josh finished the battle pass.
No.
That's all I'm saying. I'm saying that we have 1 out of 3 is not bad. That's not bad odds to me. That's a 33% chance one of us get had good time. What you mean?
All right, well, I didn't really care for playing Modern Warfare. I tried playing it, didn't enjoy it like that. Call of Duty, I'm a little burnt out of it. I'm not gonna lie to you. So Black Ops probably not gonna really do it for me. The biggest selling point about Black Ops back then was the zombies, but I mean that didn't turn into this other thing. Other Call of Duty games got zombies and stuff now, so it's not really any excitement, honestly.
Yeah.
The name Black Ops don't. Black Ops used to when I was younger. It's like, all right, Black Ops, like we finna, you know what I'm saying? We know the zombies finna be in here. What they finna do next? We finna have some good, like a good campaign and stuff like that. But after about Black Ops 3 or after Black Ops 2, I didn't care about that anymore. So when they came out Black Ops 3, that's when they started having them bumblebees that was killing people and stuff like that. And I was just like, all right, that does it.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie to you. I feel bad that we bought that Call of Duty. I do have buyer's remorse. But it's only because I have buyer's remorse because I bought the most expensive one. And I knew I wasn't gonna beat the pass. So I shouldn't have done the most expensive one. I should have just bought the one without the battle pass. Exactly. Because it just basically all that little extra currency wasted. I don't use it. I didn't use it at all. I didn't even log in to redeem the stuff that I unlocked with the 50 tokens. I didn't do none of it. None of it. So it doesn't matter. Just felt like I wasted money there. But I bought it in the anticipation to play with you guys. I just realized after playing it for a good amount of time that it became less of what I thought, where like a variety, it felt fun, it felt engaging, it felt like people were just using different stuff, to everybody using similar things, doing similar tactics, because that is the meta, and that game has always been like that, and I just forgot. And unfortunately, you have to. Yeah, I paid a lot to remember it. I think Call of Duty having a Game Pass esque future is great for business in regards to people that just don't want to spend money on the game to log in to play with friends, and not want to play Warzone. It's going to be great for the Call of Duty multiplayer, but not Warzone and things like that. It's going to be good for like the, team deathmatch, stuff like that. So, I do expect that to happen, and I do expect that to be a thing in the future. So, it's not going to die anytime soon, and with the, but I don't know how long, the level of quality. Actually, I don't even know what I'm saying. Call of Duty has no quality level. I think the quality level all comes to like the technology and like the ability to make the game look good each and every iteration, but it really isn't getting any different in regards to core fundamentals. So I don't even know what I
Yeah,
mean.
and I think they're really making an effort to unify all the Call of Duty games as
Yeah,
far as like a platform, so they can just be like a 2K situation that you just get a new one every year. It's kind of what you expect. It's gonna continuously look better, but it's gonna play the same. You might have slightly different um environment, but I think that's the route that Call of Duty is going, and that might work out for a Game Pass type situation where you just always have the newest Call of Duty version, so you can just hop on. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't I don't see Call of Duty being like as big of a title as it was every year. I mean, that being said, they always do make a lot of money, so they still are gonna want to keep that revenue stream. But yeah, I see it just more of a yearly update instead of a new release.
Mm.
I mean, they going, yeah. I mean, 2K come out with a full release. I think that was a good, I don't want to say analogy, like a good comparison. But I will say, I feel like people got to change they mindset, and people not gonna do this because people say the same thing about 2K, FIFA, and all this type of stuff. I think people just got to understand that Call of Duty is gonna try to tweak mechanics that probably already been tweaked before and recycled, and it's like really becoming like a 2K thing. So like you might have a little, like I said before, different mechanics. Obviously, you're gonna be having graphics that's supposed to be improving and stuff like that. But I think people just need to drop the whole expectation of being like, we want something different, this, that, and the third, because the game come out every year, just like 2K and stuff like that. And it's just a long wolf game. Jump in something real quick. You play and shoot people and stuff, point and shoot, and then you cut it off just quick in and quick out. Like, and I didn't accept that in Call of Duty, and that's why I don't like get them and things like that, because I know that's not the experience that I'm really looking for, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
really think they could innovate and do something really, really. I mean, they probably can, but they would have to just rework everything. And at this point, it wouldn't be Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Black Ops. Like, you're gonna get the little different multiplayer game modes that carry over. You're gonna get the campaign maybe, unless they want to charge extra for it. And you're gonna get an extra game mode that, they might, whether it's Spec Ops, Zombies, Warzone, stuff like that. I mean, you basically got these couple staples in Call of Duty that's always gonna be there. Likewise in 2K, you're gonna get your My Player, you're gonna get your Park, you might get your Pro Am League, and then you might, or you can just do the regular like verses and stuff like that. Like, these are the expectations, and I think people just need to understand them. But like, stop holding it against. I don't want to say you can't stop holding against them, because accountability is important, but it's gonna be very similar to what it was. It's just you basically paying for another game to get the updates, and they're gonna throw in the nostalgia things in there, like let me play 2K so I can get this, bunny suit and cross people over with it, just like Call of Duty. Oh, they putting a HK from Black Ops 1 in here, or the Captain Price skin, those sorts of things in there. So it's literally like similar formula.
Mm-hmm.
When I was younger, I was thinking it should be something more, but I mean, people gonna buy Call of Duty because they just want a simple game to just get in and shoot people. It's like the shooters of 2K at this point. So
No, I
Yeah.
think that's 100% true. So I didn't want to I don't want to put too much stock in it. That's why I was thinking like, what are y'all thoughts on it? So my initial thought is, again, I waste my money, and I feel like Call of Duty could have more potential to breathe life into in our rotation if it goes to Game Pass and we all just have Game Pass. I'm never going to buy another one again. I just think that is boof at this point. It's not a good thing for me to do. It's not a good thing for me to like. It's just not something I want to do anymore. It's not one of those games that I could potentially see myself jumping into and having a fun time in again. And that's just what it is. So, I think that's where I kind of just wanted to pose that question to you guys and thought your thoughts too. But let's move forward because we got two more things I want to talk about, and I don't know if we're gonna get to both. One of the things is just how we approach backlog and like the cost of that, and then the other was the Kendrick Lamar response. And I'm gonna just go to the Kendrick Lamar response first because I want to talk about it, and two, because I want to talk about it. But the Kendrick Lamar's response to me, I think you all heard it at this point, right? You've heard it, right, Jalen?
yeah, I only heard it once.
Just once, okay.
Yeah, I only listened to it once.
Just once too. Oh boy. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna have a sit down because I don't really think we can have a real debate about it or kind of a conversation around it. But my take is that it's definitely a solid response. It definitely has a lot of layers to it. It definitely deserves the win over push-ups. And I think a lot was said. So my key takeaways from what was said is that a lot of the industry just really doesn't like Drake, and that's fine. I get it, but y'all some fake industry people, man. I feel like everybody just didn't like this guy behind closed doors, and they all got the same thing to say. And maybe it's not just them saying it, but maybe it's literally just the internet and just that them scrolling the internet for things that nobody likes about Drake. And, obviously him being lighter, him saying the N-word, him potentially not being able to, to not actually being someone that's tough. And these are all digs at him and things that obviously you can say from a, just reviewing him is based off of very, I don't know, surface level things, right? But then there's the deeper parts where he was talking about potentially, messing with younger people. He was talking about his splits, talking about his big homies, talking about a lot of stuff that I didn't think Kendrick was going to do, right? Talking about his kid, to the point where, like I said, he was just calling him an unfit father. Like he wasn't able to, you're not going to be someone that's really in your children's life, blah, blah, blah. I mean, obviously, you guys only heard it once, so I can't really ask this.
I mean, I looked at the lyrics and stuff too, so I mean,
well, I guess I'm asking is, do you feel like this hit harder than push-ups?
So my thing about this is, and this is like trying to be from a neutral standpoint, as somebody who like lyrics and stuff, I say lyrically I enjoy Kendrick's because it had me wanting to listen to more like what you got to say. And when I listen to push-ups, I didn't feel that same way. Push-ups had a more hype beat. Like, yeah, I'm about to put my, I'm finna pop my ish, and I'm finna say things and say what they are directly, and just say certain things that's like real surface level. And what to me, what distinguished Kendrick, aside from the fact I enjoy Kendrick, right?
Yeah.
Kendrick is gonna say certain things. Sometimes I don't enjoy this about Kendrick. Sometimes he say things that's over my head. He say some things that's really, really specific that I just won't really understand. And I have to
Okay.
look into it. And sometimes I don't know if he completely understands it, but it sounds okay at worst. All right.
Okay.
Drake say things that's very direct. And this is just my take because I like the lyrics and a little bit more deeper things. I'm like above beats. Um, Drake be like, F this, some, you did this, woo, woo, woo. And then sometimes he might say something corny, like he didn't say this in push ups, but he might be like, um, I heard you got the cake, so stay in the kitchen because you're a bake. Like he'll say stuff like that. You just like, I see what you were saying, but it just kind of sounded a little corny, and maybe the delivery ain't there, like the punchline. Um, Kendrick give me a little bit more. I'm not saying he is Lil Wayne, but he'll say like all my kicks fly like Lil Kane. You like, oh, like your shoes, like kicks. Like it got a little bit more depth. Like it's not too deep where people can't understand or do a quick Google search. But Drake say things where he's trying to sound like a little bit smarter or whatever. So the point that I'm making is when Kendrick was saying certain things, Kendrick would have me looking up certain things. You be like, all right, okay. Like I ain't gonna lie, I didn't know what Crody was. Like,
Mm.
he'll say that. He'll say stuff about like the family or not their family, but like he an unfit father. He's saying these certain things and he's saying a little bit more deeper things that has a little bit more weight. Drake gonna talk about a situation where like, okay, Metro, go learn how to use some drums or something. You like, all right, like, that hit, I ain't gonna discredit it, but it wasn't like something like, all right, well, I don't want you using an N-word, and then most people only want to hear you because they like your melody. People don't want to hear you talking about like the guns, this, and the third, but he didn't say it that way. He said it like, we don't want to hear about like, I don't know the word specific, like finger flicking, this, that, and the third. Don't use this word because you like, you know what I'm saying? So it had a little bit more depth to it, and he's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
going on a deeper level than what Drake did, because Drake just saying like I did this and the third. Now y'all mad, y'all talking about this. You just like, all right, well, thanks for telling me like the story and stuff like that, or why y'all beefing, and you're talking like you're confident, I guess his standpoint. I'm confident I can do this, that, and the third. Y'all can't do this, or y'all can't touch me. Kendrick, like, man, I got a family to take care of, bro. I ain't really saying all this type of stuff to like degrade you. I'm out here to put out the reality, and then y'all can decide if y'all like him or not. So he didn't need to attack Drake like when people fighting and stuff like that, like just verbally attack him and stuff. He like, I'm finna put out some facts to give y'all something to think about, and I'm finna outline what he is, and then y'all can go from there, which is I appreciate it. And he finna close his book, and he finna go take care of his family, do this, that, and the third. Like he ain't phased. Like Drake, like I'm a little phased and stuff like that. And I felt like when he was rapping, it was like I don't want to say it was rage that was coming out, but the tone, whether it's AI or not and stuff like that, it just was some stuff that's not Drake-esque, and I couldn't fully listen to Push Up all the way because it was too long for him to just be talking tough, and it didn't feel 100% genuine, if that makes sense. So,
Mm. Yeah. Those are some valid points, and I think the key takeaway from Kendrick's, diss is that it was it was the subtlety of the disses that really hit home, and then there was the repeatability of like there was a very solidified intro, there was the middle, and then there was the ending, and then the ending having very potent and like hard hitting disses, but that weren't really hard hitting at the same time. It was crazy how that 6 minute 6 minute record kind of took us through a ebbs and flows of Kendrick Lamar's versatility in rapping, and I think there is some criticism to be said in regards to like if you like his type of flow or not. Like if you don't like that type of changing of the tonality and using different types of levels and or lowering and raising your octane, like all that stuff is can be considered annoying. And like you just rap, bro. They want you to just do this, but it's performative in a way that you don't think Kendrick saying these lines would be so impactful. Him talking about Sexy Red and them two being next to each other and thinking it's just two, thinking that they're acting as if they're both women. Like you don't see that delivery often, but when you do get it from Kendrick, it's more of a it's more done in an artistic way. Like those are lines that if someone else tried to pull off, they probably wouldn't hit the same. But because they're coming from Kendrick, certain things do still have certain weight to it, and that is what I enjoy about a Kendrick verse and the replayability of it. Like on first listen, I was sitting there like, dang, I caught so much. It was so much said. And then I listened to a second time and a third time and a fourth time. And I was like, I'm catching more things as I go through it, double entendres and things like that. And I felt like he took his time to create something a little bit more, I wouldn't call it poetic, but it's definitely something that people can chew on for a little bit versus, Drake's approach of just being fast. So that is why, in my opinion, he won that first round. Even though I think Taylor Made Freestyle, Drake was saying some stuff on that was much better than Push Ups. That I would have much more preferred to put those two together as like the two to go against, because Taylor Made felt like more of a sequencing of poetically giving somebody the business, just like what Kendrick did, versus Push-Ups just being something we are known from Drake to do when he's in a rap beef. So honestly, it can go either way for me. If you're counting Taylor Made and Push-Ups, it's Drake. If you're counting just Kendrick, Euphoria to Push-Ups, then I'm gonna give it to Kendrick every time. But I do feel like both of them are heavily. This matchup is very much so interesting because it's so equally. They're so equally, in my opinion, they're equally talented in ways of pen work and creating, but I think Kendrick has an up on, which is crazy to me, on Drake with theatrics on songs. Like Drake will dominate him on the internet, but that is not his domain. His domain domain expansion is on a track, and his track speaks more volumes than anything, the antics that surround what Drake did all these last 2 weeks, because his domain is what that track is, what laid on that track. And I think what's in that between those that start and end is him encompassing a lot of what's been happening online, responding to things, moving things accordingly. Obviously, talking about Lil Yachty and his influence, and just addressing so much that it feels as if it has done exactly what it needed to do in response to everything versus not, So that's what I like about it. That's why I appreciate it a lot. That's why I'm super excited to talk about it, because it is pure hip hop. It is pure artistry at its finest, a diss record with euphoria definition on the front of it, and it has so many different meanings as you kind of listen through to it. Even that first line, him talking about telling lies on me, and I won't tell no truths on you. It's just so many things that was just like, wow, you really did that from a diss track, didn't you? So it solidified a lot for me. Solidified that exactly what I thought of Kendrick, that he will kill you with poetry. It's you don't. I was like, he not gonna scream on a track. He not gonna just get more aggressive. How do you play this to make it work for you? And I think he played it super well. And it told me about his genius. That's all. I didn't never doubted Kendrick's pen. I just doubted his ability to not have to take a lot of time. And this to be done in such a short period of time and addressing things that were happening during the week as well helps me to understand that, yeah, Kendrick is definitely a cut above and deserves to be in that conversation. So it's definitely helping me see him in a better light. Like I said, I don't want this to get crazy. I don't want this to get like no bloodbath or nothing. I want to showcase their skills and their abilities. And I'm seeing that full force right now. And I'm very appreciative of it. And I think even on Drake's end, I see his ability to finesse the situation to create a narrative for himself that benefits him. Do I think Kendrick does not have tools to stop it? No, I think Kendrick definitely is prepared. So I am worried a little bit for Drake, to be honest. I think he has skills, he has abilities, but he is not known for deep intellectual. And this guy here, Kendrick, is unfortunately using his intellect and his ability to make people think to his advantage. Drake cannot make us bouncing around enough to make us not stop and think about this weird stuff that has happened. Even him talking about the $500,000 he spent to get the sexual assault case go away. It's like that. You don't even know he's talking about certain things until you look it up and start to put dots together. So, again, you got, if someone's going to listen to a Kendrick Lamar diss in 2024, they have to use their brain. And if not, then they say it's trash. And that's most people that, that really aren't listening for it. And I don't want to say everybody that's listening for it is going to love it. I'm just telling you that he's already created a domain where you have to kind of deep dive into his lyrics, right? As he says these things. So even if he isn't trying to say something, people are making it so. You know how hard that is? Yeah. To make someone decode something that doesn't really tie in. That is his power right now. That's his superpower. Drake don't got it. Everything thinks it's like very one-dimensional. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, that is my key thoughts that I wanted to express. I'll open it up to the floor, and then I'll say my final thoughts.
Yeah, as y'all know, I don't like Drake that much, but I think Drop and Give Me Push-Ups, or both versions, whatever, was pretty good actually, but not as, I know that he took shots at Kendrick actually, probably a lot, but most of it I feel like were just like jabs, not a whole lot of really hard hitting stuff. Personally, I feel like J. Cole in the beginning was going harder on Kendrick before he backed down, and then Drop and Give Me 50, or my bad, Push-Ups, was aimed at everybody. It was aimed at a lot of people, and that's what was impressive about it. that Drake was able to take shots at, you know, like you said, 20 people. Even though it wasn't necessarily 20 people in the same song, he took shots at least 10 people in the same song. Talking about Future and Metro and The Weeknd and Kendrick and
Yep.
everybody directly. And that's what was the most impressive thing about it, because we all know that Drake is not a gangster per se. But that's still very how to phrase it, like, I don't know, like, you
Respectable.
have to respectable, yeah, and very confident in yourself to do that, and
Yeah.
that's it. And he did a very good job, so I definitely have to give him props on that. So with this, however, I feel like if you compare 'em 1 to 1, it's in Kendrick's favor because it's 6 minutes directly targeted at Drake to talk about things that he's specifically done and said in the past. So I think that's why it gives Kendrick a leg up, because it's a direct response to him, whereas Drake's is more focused on everybody. Now the second diss that Drake did, I unfortunately think that that's Drake showing his hand too early.
Mm.
He, if he had a super, he used it too early. It's like, Kendrick he ain't even showed up yet. Why you doing so much so early? Because now that one is kind of getting overshadowed. Like, I didn't even listen to it. I think a lot of people kind of skipped it because, I mean, if Kendrick's not saying anything, I don't need to hear 4, 5, 6 disses from Drake. I know that could be a good way to like put the nail in the coffin, but it hadn't even started yet because Kendrick didn't even say anything. So I think unfortunately he used that too early, and he's gonna have to respond again. I think Drake is probably ready. He probably got like 10 disses lined up, but um he's gonna
He
have to
probably did
respond
have to be
again to
funny.
this one. Yeah, he had the advantage, and he kind of has nothing to lose from it. But also, now that Kendrick is actually responding, now the expectation on you is to put something out better than the first 2 disses that you did, and something better than what Kendrick did. So it's just making more work for yourself when you kind of just didn't have to do that. So
Yeah.
anyways, as far as like the Kendrick um this, I think it was really good with, like you said, creativity and taking the time to put the lyrics in to talk about more recent things. But what I liked about it most is kind of that I would say, not honesty, but it feels more um honest on Kendra's part, that the beef is not manufactured, that he doesn't like Drake, but they also don't hang out. They've never hung out. And that's why when he said don't tell a lie about me, I won't tell the truth about you, that was like what, 6, 7, 8 years ago that that song came out, or was it part 4?
Mm-hmm.
Um and so it feels like this is a really, really old feelings that I'm finally addressing, because now you're, saying stuff about me directly. Anyways, I felt it was more genuine that Kendrick said, you know, you're not a good father, or you don't know how to be a good father, or stuff like that. It felt like, um maybe I don't know Drake, I don't know his personal life, but it felt more I guess honest is the word that I'm looking for. Even if it's not a really creative bar, or he made a better song or anything like that. He's kind of saying stuff is like that about your character that people are kind of believing about you. And it's gonna be hard to like get that away. You can still, I got more money, I got stuff like this, but in disses is kind of weird, where you have to attack the person's character to make people not think so highly of them. And So anyways, Kendrick did a good job of that. It was just addressing a lot of things about Drake in his life that are um that hurt, uh that, like, the truth hurts type thing. So when Drake responds, it's not much that he can say about like how I am actually a good dad, or it's nothing wrong with me talking to young girls or something like that. Like, he can't even address those things. He has to just ignore it and talk about something
Mm-hmm.
else. And that's kind of a point for Kendrick, because you're getting some hits in that can be unchallenged. Mhm.
No, yeah, I think that there's a lot of value in just being able to subtly jab and like finesse the situations, even with the double entendres and at bringing up things that may throw over people's heads. It really starts to kind of start to get the motors running on like all the things that you have to address, and you can't even keep up with the things that you did catch but the stuff you missed. So there's so much there that it's a beautiful thing to see, and like in regards to like just having a disc record. Um, but I'm gonna be quiet and keep the floor open if you got anything you want to add, Jalen.
Yeah, no, like Josh said, I mean, he got a couple jabs. Like they like Jujitsu Kaisen. It's like UG delayed blows, man. He hit you and you be, hold on, bro. Like I can't block it, bro. How come I can't prepare for this? He says some things, and it's like I think Kendrick say things. I don't know Kendrick character and stuff like that. But I think the reason I appreciate Kendrick and J. Cole is because you know them as rappers. Like you don't know about their character and all that other type of stuff. So it keep that little like what we said, we talked about like that little mystique.
Yeah.
Um Drake the same thing, but Drake kind of one of those people that hey, I'm gonna use social media to my advantage. And I think what Drake tried to do with that little, the Tupac and Snoop Dogg thing was like, I'm a troll him. Like, I'm gonna go get some West Coast dude, like, and we finna
Mm-hmm.
go get on this track to get, you know what I'm saying, and try to use the internet to provoke what he trying to, I guess, to convey his message. And he's a little bit more new school and like to troll people and do certain things, but that's not that if you rapping and like beefing with somebody and stuff like that, I didn't, me personally, I didn't think that was like cool. Not to say like it's not fair game or something. I just thought it's kind of corny. Like, I mean, I see what you was trying to do. Granted, I ain't listening to the song. It's just like, all right, versus somebody who can just come at you like, look, bro, I'm not finna gas nothing. I'm gonna just be who I want to be. I'm gonna go ahead and rap because everybody think I'm good at it, and I'm gonna just take these blows at you. And I don't really care about being a bigger person. I'm finna give some people something to chew on as a rapper, and I'm gonna just go do that because I feel like Drake being involved with a lot of stuff, and you don't really hear about like J. Cole and Kendrick social media, anything like that. Like, so whatever they say, you just got to take it for what it is. And then with that being said, you can't put no ammo that it don't give you no type of ammunition. The fact that Drake be on social media obviously it works as a pro for him, but it also work as a con because you like, why are you with Sexy Red? Like, I mean, this girl like 25, you like almost 40,
Yeah, it
bro.
makes them
And
too visible, and it makes it very easy for people to have stuff to say about you because your whole life is visible.
yeah,
Yep.
it's literally visible. Like, I can't tell you how many kids J. Cole or Kendrick got, and all the limelight, just doing all the weird stuff. And I ain't even gonna say weird, just all the different things. And I mean, like I said, it could work as a pro or it could work as a con and stuff like that. But all I'm saying is, it's giving Kendrick more grounds to, take shots at Drake and do different things. And what Drake wanted to be more in the spotlight and not so like low key. You got all the stuff about the girls. It ain't helping that he was Sexy Red. The content of his music and stuff like that. Just all those type of things, like how present he and his son life, who you got a kid by, like, J. Cole and Kendrick, from what I know, they married and stuff like, it's just like they're more stand-up people that just know how to rap real good and that make them more down to earth. And then when you just got a down to earth person just taking blows at you and really like making people chew on certain things about your character, you just like, I mean, I can appreciate that a little bit more, like on a deeper scale and stuff like that. So, and I'm gonna be honest
Yeah.
with you, I think personally, Drake. Oh my bad, which is
Oh no, you can finish with that.
I was just gonna say personally, I think Drake, if he made a disc with what he's best at, like going to the melody stuff, the quote unquote, I say this loosely, the genre that he created, and made a diss off of that. Similar how he be, dissing these random girls that may or may not exist on like with some of those melodic
Mhm.
songs. I think it would be cool because like that's what he's best at. Being tough, all these sorts of things. People come at you about this 1,000 times. Like you can make good disses and stuff. Like I'm not a rapper or a musician, but I feel like he could have a good diss if he just tried to, just take like some subtle blows and or give subtle jabs or whatever, but keeping that melodic. Like this, what I'm best at, and things like that. But he probably gonna go back to being tough, and and it's just like, all right, bro, like here come this little. He about to put his shiesty on and go ahead and so, but that's just my take on it, man. I don't know. So
Yeah, what I was gonna say about the AI thing, it's kind of I also agree where he doesn't get any points for me because in other rap beefs with other rappers, like if you're a very talented rapper, you can use the other person's like style or flow to your advantage. Like I forget who it was, but like you can copy somebody else, rap like them, show that you can do what they can do just as good or better, using their music, using their flow, using their lyrics in a creative way. And that's part of being a rapper, and also that what you do in the beef to show that you are better. And so using AI thing is not any good points for it because it's like maybe Drake wrote it, but it's like it's kind of not you showing your best. It's just kind of like a crutch, and it doesn't really add anything to the song. Like you said, I see what you tried to do, but it doesn't really work out.
Yeah.
yeah, he just that, and he just involved with too many people. And when you think about Drake, I'm gonna be honest with you. What I think about Drake is like somebody who's seeking approval, whether he's shooting hoops with the Kentucky basketball team, ambassador with the Toronto Raptors, hanging out with Lil Yachty, hanging out with Sexy Red, used to be cool with Rick Ross. He's been involved with so many people that, and I'm not gonna say they maybe didn't want to be involved with him because they felt like he's the next best thing. So like, let me ride his coattails. It's just the fact he's been involved with so many people where it's just kind of like, I mean, like who I always be wondering like who is his friends and who isn't his friends. Like even when he's like, it's just I think the only person I can consistently hear Kendrick mention him is Chubbs. Like everybody else, like all these other people, it just seemed a little strange to me, man, and it made me question his character because there isn't any consistency amongst the friend groups that I know of from my standpoint. And I heard Drake did some like just like weird stuff or whatever, like even just like backstabbing and stuff like that. I don't know how true it is. Like, I heard that some dude was his fan or something like that, and he gonna go like, what I'm saying, go mess with his wife. Like on a personal level, I don't really care about Drake, his music. I do adore it, to some capacity when he's not being hard, but like that type of stuff just it all it's just weird hearing some of that stuff, I guess, because some of it just kind of seemed a little too consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I forgot to
Well,
lyric Pusha T was talking about his character too, where it's like flaws in his character that you're trying to compensate for with other stuff.
yeah. No, I just feel like and I think you guys kind of nailed it on the head, really. He's very open, he's very available and researchable, and he has a lot of, moments out there on the internet that the rest of us just don't have. So he's just he has a built-in this like library of stuff versus the rest of them. But I think that, if anybody's going to have dirt on anybody, it's Drake. Drake is a prominent, very well known, been around the way for a very long time person. So my expectations is for it to get juicier before it gets worse. So I'm expecting that to be the case. I don't think that Drake is down and out, to be honest. I think he's very much so capable of continuing to take this and spin it to his advantage. So I'm just looking to see what that looks like for him. So but any final thoughts? My final thoughts simply are that, like I said, what I just said, but any thoughts from you guys that before we finish up the topic?
No, I'm gonna listen to it some more. Cause like I said, the push up song, I thought it was okay at first, but it grew on me as far as like Drake doing what he's good at, which is rapping and like, bigging himself up and addressing the what other people said.
Yeah.
So I think that he's like you said, not down and out. But I think it is a uphill battle, and he's gonna have to take serious the out rapping Kendrick aspect of it too.
Mm.
Because I personally think Kendrick probably he might just be super boring in his life, and there's not a lot of dirt
Oh.
like
Mm-hmm.
there is with Drake. So I mean that could be a possibility. I mean he might know some stuff like you said, but but I also think you can't maybe trying to embarrass Kendrick is not the angles you should take, but just like I said, show that you're a better rapper or a better artist. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. I did want to kind of talk about that. About how we approach backlog, but I'm gonna say that for another day. Because we are already at time. So I do appreciate everyone who has listened up until here. We only had 3 topics, but we had some pretty important ones I felt like we needed to discuss. So I will be back next week with more things to talk about, more things to digest. Hopefully we get an actual, I don't know, maybe not, but maybe we get something from Drake. But we'll be back next time to cover off on more gaming topics and somehow, some way, beef. But that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for listening, and I will talk to you all next time. Peace.